and thank you for joining me for today's process video. And today is day 3 of 30 days of sketches with Christie's Beautiful Life, and today's sketch is mine. So I decided to document some photos of us travelling down to London from Boreham Wood, which is on the outskirts. We were staying in Boreham Wood and travelling into town to see Starlight Express. If you've been watching my videos, you will have seen I did a layout about our visit to Starlight Express, but this is just some snaps of us on the train. I wanted to record it in our album as part of our story, so that's why they're not particularly interesting photos, but it records the story, and that's what for me scrapbooking is all about. So the photos have been printed 3x4, and I'm using Pretty Little Studio Good Vibrations to document this. And that paper in the background actually had a circle already cut out that I'd used on a previous layout, so it was perfect. So I've just stuck it onto white card to have that white circle showing, and that made it really easy. It's around about 8 inches in diameter, that circle. So now I'm just using some of the scraps that I've got from this collection to create the strips behind the photo. I've die cut a couple of border strips using Hey Little Magpie border dies. That's the notebook border die there that you can see on the page, and then I have also cut out the scalloped edge from the bumpy border set, both in black, just in black scrap card. So you can see here, I'm not measuring or anything, I'm just cutting a few thin strips of paper to create those layers on the left and also across the bottom. I'll cut this piece from the red and pink, and then I do find another tan piece which is already pre-cut, so it must have just been an off-cut from another layout that I created, this one here. So some of those are going to go across the bottom and some of them are going to stay on the side. There's that other die cut piece that I mentioned that I had. So I'm just working out how I want these to sit before I distress all the edges. Just wanted one more piece from this paper. I wanted a little bit more of that mustard in the layout. So again, another very thin strip, just to bring that mustard across to the bottom. So I will distress all these edges now. I won't make you watch all that, but I'm just having a little play to see how I want them all to sit. So while I'm doing this, please don't forget to check the description box down below for the playlist of everybody joining in. Every day, anybody who's creating videos just adds their videos to the playlist, and you can just spend hours watching and getting inspiration from everybody who's joined in. There are, of course, 30 sketches for 30 days, and I'm excited to do some of them. I don't think I'll be able to join in with all of the sketches. Life is still pretty busy at the moment, so I'll just join in where I can, but I'm enjoying the process and looking forward to seeing the rest of the sketches throughout the month. So just using my ATG here to stick these strips together. Just making sure that I'm happy with the layering. So that's 3 of them down, and then I'll just bring in that 4th thin piece there. I do love these papers from Pretty Little Studio. The colours are so vibrant. It's a really fun collection. So just slotting that notebook border back in. I wanted to bring the black in just to make the rest of the colours pop. It makes such a difference when you're using bright colours or indeed pastels to bring in that black. It just intensifies the colours on everything else somehow. So you'll see I used my Nuvo Deluxe glue to stick that border down because it's really quite thin, and it would have been a pain to try and get my ATG lined up. I'm not particularly good at using an ATG gun. I can get it down, but it doesn't necessarily go where I want it to, so I just hope for the best, and if something's really thin, I tend to just reach for my wet glue still. So just working out these couple of strips to go across the bottom. Again, distressing all the edges, it just creates a little bit of interest on the page, a bit of dimension. And it also defines the edges as well, because you see that white core of the paper. So either distressing the edges or adding ink works really well for getting more definition between the different pieces on your page. So that's how I think it's going to go. I've stuck the photos together as one block so I don't have to keep messing. with how they're going to sit. And there you see I used my wet glue that time because I didn't want to faff with the ATG. And I have got the photo of my sketch in front of me just so that I can see what I'd done. I created this sketch a fair while ago, so I wanted to be able to see what I was doing. And here my ATG ran out. It always seems to run out on film. It's so frustrating. I couldn't be bothered to refill it. Time was quite precious when I was creating this. So I've just reached for my tear tape. This is the sticks to tissue tape, they call it, and it's brilliant to use because you don't have to use scissors. It just tears really easy and you still get a nice firm bond. Just takes me a little while to get that backing off, but I find if you rub it down really well so that it's got a good adhesion on the background, then the paper does come off. So I'm just going to bring in my T-square here to check that this is straight. Good job I did, because it wasn't. And get that stuck down. On the left hand side it's not so bad because it's close to the edge, so you can sort of see. Remembered that I hadn't put that scalloped border down, so I just wanted to bring that in. It makes such a difference, like I say, and especially having the black on the left hand side to bring it down to the bottom as well is really important. So it does take a little bit longer with double-sided tape, but it's not too bad. So just checking whether I wanted the photos further down the page or a little bit higher up. And this is where I end up putting them, just so that you can see the scallops along the bottom of those photos. So getting that scallop border stuck down, and then I can start with the embellishing. And this actually came together really quickly. I want to add the title around the circle per the sketch that you can see in the top left-hand corner there. But then I'm going to bring in my embellishments. So it's still fiddling with that backing paper. You can get this with an overlap like the foam pads have, but I'm not so keen on that because you can't see exactly where the tape is going down, so I tend to just stick with the flush edge tape. So that's the photos down, and now I've just reached for an old alphabet thickers set, and I'm going to spell out Boreham Wood to St Pancras, which is the journey we were doing on the train. This is a very dark navy, but it still works really nicely with these papers, despite having the black in as well. So I wanted to bring in a little subtitle here because there are some really fun wordy bits in the ephemera packs in this collection. And I liked that one that said good vibrations. We were all quite excited to be going into town for the day, so that worked nicely. And then this is my little tray of ephemera bits. And in the end, I decided to reach for the stars that I previously stamped for another layout. So this is using the background stars stamp set from Hey Little Magpie, and I just chose colours that work nicely with this collection. So when I'd finished and hadn't used these ones, I popped them back in the ephemera pack, and actually they've worked really nicely for this layout. So just creating a little cluster of 3 down at the bottom there. I've got one on the right hand side of that good vibrations ephemera piece, and then I'm popping a couple up at the top here. So I'll glue those down, and then I'm going to reach into some stickers. So I had a little bit of a faff with this bottom. It's funny, you lay things down, pick them up, and then can't remember exactly how they were. But I get there in the end. So I wanted to use one of these word strips just on the left-hand side. I felt like I needed something else to the left of that red and pink stripy piece. And this one says Happy Feels, so I thought that would work nicely, just tucked in at the bottom there. And then these round elements, I use my 1 1/4 inch circle punch to punch out the one that says Good Vibes, and I'm just going to pop that up on foam. There's quite a lot of dimension there in that bottom corner where the photo is. So if I just stuck it on, it would have been wonky. So adding the foam just raises it up and makes it more even. And then I'm just coming in with some little bits and pieces from Hey Little Magpie. I've got this lovely puffy star in beige. I'm just gluing that down as well. And I've also brought in one of the new faux leather hearts with love embossed on it. I'm just going to add next to that Good Vibrations piece. I wanted to use one of these to add my date at the top of the photo. So I'm just cutting out the red one because it provides a nice contrast and just brings the red onto the photo there. And it will go above James's head. With a nice space there to put it. So using my roller date stamp just to add that date, it was 19th of February. This was our school holidays because my husband's a teacher. We have to go in the school holidays. And indeed, the kids are still at college this year. It's their last year at college. So these are the stickers I was talking about. They're lovely little word phrases. And I'm just going to use them to embellish those stars. I start with 2 on the photo of me and Amelia. One says time to relax, and then the other one says the little details. We'd walked from the Travelodge. It's just under 2 miles. To get to the train station, so it's good to have a sit down before we carried on walking in town. So that one says the good life, then I choose one that says documented, and then at the top I'm going with this moment and hello life. These are really generic stickers and they work well on pretty much any page. You'll find something that you want to add. This is one of our faux leather smiley faces, again in the Bits and Pieces collections from Hey Little Magpie. So many fun bits and pieces, and these are the sorts of things you'll find in our embellishment kit. If you're interested, we run a monthly embellishment kit now as well. A little ribbon loop, just to add a bit of texture there above that circular element. And then a little bit of journaling. I didn't want to add too much, but just to say what we were doing. Just add that with my black gel pen, and it was so little that I didn't even need to add any lines. So just bringing in another little puffy star. This is a lovely green one, again from the Bits and Pieces. And that's it done. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope I've provided some inspiration and you enjoy using this sketch if you join along. Thanks again. Bye.